Welcome to my channel, members of the Alphabet Gang. My name is NikStarchild, and I make videos about my life as a thriving transgender man. On Saturdays, I answer questions or I talk about sex and relationships. So let's jump in today's topic. Today's topic is about safe sex for queers. So, safe sex can be for anyone. If you are not a member of the LGBTQ plus community, this conversation is right for you as well. But I'm specifically speaking to my community, and I wanted to just give an overview on sexual safety, and things to think about. So let's jump into it. First of all, let's define what is safe sex. So safer sex is all about protecting yourself and your partners from sexually transmitted infections. Safer sex helps you stay healthy and can even make sex better. So why is this important for queers? Well, STDs or STIs, they're the same thing. STDs are sexually transmitted diseases, and STIs are sexually transmitted infections. Medical professionals are moving to STI because it's more factual in terms of infection, because not all STIs are diseases. So you can use them interchangeably, and I will today. STDs are infections that are passed from one person to another during sexual activity. Anybody who has oral sex, anal sex, vaginal sex, genital skin-to-skin contact, or who have shared sexual fluids with another person can get an STD. So that means anybody. So this is why it's important to queers. No matter who you are, what your orientation is, your gender, you can get an STD. And so then what does that look like, right? So what does like safe sex looks like? What can you do to increase your safety? One of the best ways is by using a barrier. So like condoms, internal condoms, dental dams, or latex or nitrile gloves. So every single time that you are having oral sex, anal sex, vaginal sex, or do anything that you're gonna pass, sexual fluids, so like maybe like sharing a sex toy, barriers are so important. So they're going to protect you and your partner from any spread of STDs if you use them properly. Many people don't even realize that like lube is actually can make sex safer and increase your comfort and pleasure at the same time. So the friction that happens when you rub your genitals together during sex, that can irritate your skin, and it can cause these small tears in your sensitive genital skin, and that's where the STIs can get into your body. So friction also makes the condoms break pretty easily. So lube is a really great way. It's nice, it keeps your sex nice and slippery, it cuts down on that friction, and so it leads to a safer and more comfortable sex. The other thing that you want to do in terms of preventing these STIs is to get tested regularly. That's another part of the safer sex approach. Even if you always use like condoms and you feel fine, you have no symptoms, it doesn't matter. A lot of people with STDs don't have symptoms, so it's really important that you know if you are infected or not, so that you don't pass it on to your partners. Because as soon as you know, that's great, then you and your partner can get tested, and then you guys can get treated, and then you don't give it to each other or pass it on to other people. It's also important to get tested, because then you'll know. Like, what if you didn't know, right? You didn't know you had an STD, and then you had it, and then you go on, and then you have medical issues, right? Certain STDs can lead to cancer. Like that's why we have the Gardasil vaccination, and you can syphilis. You can go blind, you can die. Like there's a lot of things that can happen. So you want to make sure that you are catching those things very early. It can feel a little awkward to bring up safer sex, but it is so important. Talking about protecting each other shows that you care about each other, and it means that you want to make your relationship even better. So think of it that way. And I would say the best time to talk to your partner or partners about safer sex is before you start having the sex, okay? So make sure you're both, you and your partner or partners are cool with the things that you want to do, like using condoms or dams, that you're both on the same page, that you're both getting tested, and that you are updated on those test results. And when you think about, I guess, how to approach this, right? So how do you start? How do you start having this conversation? Well, first, you want to set the scene and let your partner know, hey, I care about you and I want to have this conversation because I want us to be on the same page. And so that's how you kind of set it up, is like, hey, we care about each other. I care about you. You care about me. Let's care about this relationship. And then what you can do if you're, if it's kind of awkward, you can start talking about your history first. So talk about your safer sex history. Talk about the things that you've gone through and you've experienced, and that what you expect, and that can be a way to help your partner feel a little bit more comfortable, and then get them to start opening up. And then you can also suggest, like, hey, how about we get tested together? Let's go and make sure that we're both don't have any STIs, and then we can move forward together. So making it a group activity instead of like putting the onus on one person to do things. What can you ask, or what exactly should you say? So that can be kind of hard. What is the exact like sentences you can use? So here are a few things that you can say to spark the conversation. You can say, do you know if you have any STDs? Do you know? Don't say, do you have STDs? Say, do you know if you have any STDs? When was the last time you were tested for STDs? Do you usually use condoms and or dental dams? Have you ever shared needles with someone for tattoos, piercings, or shooting drugs? And then if you could, if someone says yes to any of those, you could say, okay, you've had STDs. Okay, which ones? Did you get them treated? How long ago was it? Essentially, you're just gathering information. These questions should not be judgment. There should be no judgment behind it. It's more of just collecting information and making sure that you're on the same page. And I'm pretty sure once you do that, your partner's going to be happy that you brought it up and that you're both on the same page. And if they're not, that's a red flag. You want to be really, really clear with your boundaries. If your partner won't get tested or use protection, it may be a sign. I wouldn't say it may be a sign. It is a sign that your relationship isn't healthy. When someone refuses to have safer sex with you and you want to and they don't, that lets you know that person doesn't have your best interests at heart, and that you probably shouldn't be in a relationship with them, and you most definitely shouldn't be having sex with them. You should definitely practice learning to say no in the moment, and having those boundaries, and getting tested regularly. Do not have sex with people who don't respect your boundaries. It's just you're gonna suffer in the end. Trust me, either by pregnancy or STI or heartbreak. So don't even let that happen. And that's it. That's essentially like my keys to STIs, or safer sex for queers, and why you need to have safe sex, basically because of the opportunity for you to catch an STI. Which, why even put yourself in that position? Just have safer sex and enjoy yourself, and don't have to have this issue whatsoever. With the queer community and our history, especially with gay men and HIV, there is a lot of healthcare coverage for queer people out there, and it is very accessible, and there's no reason why you shouldn't be getting tested at least once every 3 months, every quarter, I would say. All right, well, that's my feedback on how to have safer sex as a queer person. If you have questions, please leave them below. You can always like, comment, or subscribe in general. But if you want to go above and beyond in supporting me, please check out the links in my description. You know that creating content isn't easy for someone like myself as a transgender person of color. So I really appreciate you being here and supporting me today. And I will be back next Saturday with another video about some sexy time. So until then, see ya.